How's it going, guys, and welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at underused and not often talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game or should be left behind and forgotten. And today, similar to the last, we're taking a look at a category of weapons, this time being quest weapons. Not to be confused with quest reward weapons, these are specifically the weapons that you get for use during certain quests. Now, a vast majority of these are not actually obtainable outside of their respective quests being active, with a couple exceptions, and a couple of them really aren't that interesting at all, but I thought, hey, what the hell, I think all of these at least deserve a video, and I can just slap them all together. Namely, the weapons that we were talking about today are the green rarity, the Big Succ, and Kevin's Chili, the blue rarity Black Flame, and for our purples, the Rogue Sight, the 7th Sense, and the 7th Sense Rogue Sight Queen's Call 3-way hybrid weapon, which isn't technically a quest weapon, but it's made up of two of them, so I thought this is the time to talk about it. Now, similar to the last, this format is going to be a little bit different than usual, but it will be following the same as that last video. We're covering 6 weapons today, some I will have more to say on than others, so I might be moving a little bit quick over some of these, and therefore, you're not going to see footage of them tested with every single character, but I promise I did give them a fair test, even if you don't see all the footage of that testing. As well, once again, I will not be testing each of these weapons with anointments. None of them are able to be anointed legitimately, and if you really just gotta know what they're like with an anointment, watch the footage and use your imagination. Pretend they're like 30 to 50% stronger. With that all out of the way, let's get on into things here, starting out with our green rarity, the Big Succ. This weapon is given for use during the Stag Dog Days side quest in the Droughts, and is one of the ones able to be obtained after the fact through the Crazy Earl Veteran Rewards vending machine on Sanctuary. The Big Succ is a green Vladoff AR with an underbarrel grenade launcher, and that is literally it, aside from having a unique name and red text on it. It's got nothing else going for it other than being a kind of funny gun from a very good quest. Other than that, it is a green assault rifle. It also has a grenade launcher. This feels like I'm in fucking show and tell and trying to talk about a raggedy sock I pulled out from under my bed. I don't know, man. It's fucking shit and it does nothing. It's very aptly named. Moving on to our next green weapon. I told you some of these are gonna go quick. It is the Kevin's Chili, given for use during the quest on Sanctuary 3, the Kevin Conundrum. This is a unique green rarity Molly 1 SMG, specifically being a quasar and therefore firing a laser beam after a brief charge up. It does have 2 firing modes, but both firing modes are locked to cryo damage and changes absolutely nothing. Now, I do find the name interesting here. I mean, it truly is a thinking man's gun. Is this gun referring to Kevin and his delightful homemade chili? Or is it referring to Kevin and his state of being uncomfortably chilled? One may truly never know. Just ignore the spelling of chili, it's fine. The Black Flame, given for use during the Witch's Brew side quest in the Jacob's Estate, and also available from the Veteran Rewards vending machine after completion. The Black Flame is a blue rarity Torg shotgun, locked to incendiary damage, and firing out grenades in an arcing trajectory that will explode on impact. The Black Flame was wildly disappointing to me. I really like the Black Flame during the quest. It's a really fun grenade launcher, and in mission, it usually feels pretty damn good. Sometimes I'll even start this mission, get the Black Flame, and use it to help me clear through the Jacob's Estate because it's just a really fun weapon to use, and at the time you get it, it is pretty solid. It's also a grenade launching shotgun, so really just what's not to love? But come endgame, this might genuinely be one of the single worst guns I have ever showcased in this series, even when acknowledging that it isn't anointed. I mean, like, it was worse than both the Big Succ and Kevin's Chili because those only took most of an eternity to kill something. The Black Flame takes the full eternity and most of your shotgun ammo. Incredibly upsetting for a gun that realistically I didn't even have that high of expectations for. The Rogue Sight, given for use during the Going Rogue main story quest in Floodmore Basin, is a unique purple rarity Jacob's pistol. When ADS'd, it allows you to see some hidden marks that exist for quest purposes, and the only other unique ability is that the Rogue Sight's bullets will home in on enemies. This gun isn't actually terrible as long as you're hitting crits, for the most part just feeling pretty damn on par with your average purple Jacob's pistol. but of course unanointed. However, good fucking luck hitting those crits because this gun actively fights you on it. Similarly to the auto aim, this gun has homing projectiles that like to focus on hitting center mass. So unless you're fighting an enemy from an angle where to get to center mass, the projectile needs to pass through the crit, like war dogs or necro bugs, you have to full on be inside an enemy raw dog to actually hit crits. Wildly frustrating for very little reward, but still decent enough overall, but not enough to actually ever use outside of the quest. And I mean, if you've done the quest enough, you probably don't even need it in the quest. And we're finally getting a little spicy here with the 7th Sense being given for use during the Cold Case Restless Memories quest in Cursehaven. Similar to the Rogue Sight, the 7th Sense is used to see hidden things when ADS for quest purposes. But outside of that, the only thing really unique about this is that it's an alien barrel Jacobs, though a non-elemental alien barrel at that. It has 0 zoom when ADS'd, and it has the low-tier Jacobs 1x1 bullet load reload animation. It also has a chill little 70k base damage. I didn't look at that before I started shooting and had a hell of a surprise when this thing not only killed, but killed incredibly damn well. This is also the most unique quest weapon that we've looked at, having some goofy shit going on with the previously mentioned kinetic alien barrel, having 0 zoom, and of course the low-tier Jacobs pistol 1x1 reload, which in combat is a huge pain in the ass and pretty damn bad, but it is still kinda neat to see. It's a very interesting weapon, it's pretty damn cool, and it's unique enough from the legendary counterpart to stand out as a neat weapon on its own. It is actually kind of unfortunate that there's no way to get this one outside of the quest, just because it is a very weird gun and it would be a cool wall gun to have. But that'll take us to the wall gun to have, the 7th Sense Rogue Sight Queen's Call hybrid weapon, being the only hybrid weapon present within Borderlands 3 and only obtainable through getting lucky within the Diamond Loot Room. This weapon has a lot of shit going on with it. It is less base damage than the purple 7th Sense, but it has a higher fire rate and crit on card, which is insanely good to have with base damages this big. But there's both good and bad here. It keeps the 0 zoom on ADS, it loses the 1x1 reload, and most unfortunately has the fucking center mass homing projectiles from the Rogue Sight. But the best parts about it, because it's also a hybrid of the Queen's Call, it gets ammo return on crit, if you manage to hit crits, and 12.5% lifesteal. This gun is actually shockingly good overall, it just really sucks that hitting a crit is an absolute uphill battle and it cannot be anointed. Otherwise, it might have ended up being something more than just a trophy gun to get from the Diamond Loot Room and throw up on your wall to brag about how you got the cool Borderlands 3 hybrid gun. If only it meant something. Overall though, quest weapons are pretty damn stinky. They're meant to be used for like 10 to 20 minutes maybe to complete a quest, with their most unique attributes usually existing to help you within completing a quest and being specific to that quest and not really having a use outside of it. While some of them do have unique effects not present on other weapon types, such as the Rogue Sight having homing projectiles, which I don't believe there's another Jacobs pistol that homes in on enemies quite like that, which is neat trivia, but it's not something I would actually want to use because similar to the auto aim, having center mass homing projectiles on a precision weapon isn't really valuable. Some of them are cool, some of them are absolute dog shit, but if there's one thing that is absolutely undeniable about these weapons, you sure do get them during quests. Now finally here, before ending off, I do have a little bit of an announcement to make about this series. We are now officially entering the final stretch of BL3's Forgotten, which is absolutely fucking insane to say. With these last 2 conglomerate videos out of the way, I now have a single weapon of every weapon type to get through before we are done. 1 assault rifle, 1 rocket launcher, 1 pistol, 1 shotgun, 1 SMG, and 1 sniper rifle. And then officially, the series is over. However, unofficially, there is still a couple more weapons I'm probably gonna want to talk about. But coming up to that milestone of actually completing the initial list that I had made and set out with the goal of completing, I just want to say thank you guys, everyone who's ever watched any of these videos, anyone who's ever supported this channel, anyone who's ever shared these videos. I really fucking appreciate it. And those of you that have subscribed and stuck around. You know who you are. I still recognize some usernames down in the comments from way back in the early days of this series. I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for sticking it through here with me. And I promise, even when this series is completely done and I have no more weapons to shoehorn into it after the fact, this channel isn't going anywhere, and I still have plenty of plans for items and weapons I want to talk about, and formats of which to do that in. But with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all of that. I will be live right after this video goes up, right here on YouTube and also over on my Twitch channel, where there'll be a link to down in the description below, and just under that is a link to my Discord server where you can come and join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.